That decision wasn't simply an investment. It was an act of faith in the ingenuity and spirit of this nation.
A chill swept through Kensington Palace. The moment Prince William stepped forward, he carried a tone Britain hadn't heard from him in years, measured, heavy, and unmistakably final. His announcement about Meghan Markle wasn't just unexpected, it landed like a thunderbolt striking marble. Every eye in the room fixed on him, and the atmosphere tightened instantly, as though time itself had slowed to hear his words. Advisors froze mid-step. Reporters scrambled for clarity. Even the most seasoned royal insiders admitted they had never seen William this resolute, this deliberate, this completely unflinching. But what drove him to make such a tough, historic declaration? And why is it far worse than anyone could have imagined, a statement that would ripple through the monarchy for years to come? William's royal bombshell. For the first time in modern royal history, the future king openly cut ties with a family member who still holds royal titles. But the power of William's announcement wasn't just in what he said, it was in how he said it. Calm, steady, ice-cold, every word carefully measured. No leaks, no whispers, no memos, just William, stepping forward after King Charles handed him and Catherine full control over the palace's crisis communications. Insiders say this moment marked the beginning of a new royal era.
Put together, it means ensuring the brightest and boldest amongst us, in all sectors of society.
With King Charles grappling with health challenges and a growing loss of public faith in Buckingham Palace's old communication methods, this was about more than words. It was survival, strategy, and authority crystallized into one unforgettable statement. Just 2 nights before William's declaration, Charles quietly signed a private order at Clarence House. Internally, it was dubbed the Autumn Mandate. According to the directive, Catherine, Princess of Wales, would have full authority to manage the fallout from Meghan, her renewed mentions in Epstein discussions, leaked letters, and the rising hostility from American media. But the order also gave William a new, central role. He would be the voice of the monarchy, the one to speak with strength, certainty, and clarity whenever the institution needed it most. And on that cold October morning, William delivered exactly that, and then some, sending shockwaves across the royal circle and the media alike. Meanwhile, Meghan's familiar media machine in California lit up with claims of royal bullying, favoritism toward Catherine, and unfair treatment by King Charles. But after 5 long years of silence, William finally struck back. And he did it formally, directly, and with devastating precision. Standing before a small group of reporters in the picture gallery, he stated with unflinching authority, "No member of this family has bullied Mrs. Markle, and no one has favoured my wife at her expense. What has happened is the direct result of her own choices, her repeated actions, and her persistent attempts to damage the integrity of this institution." Then came bombshell after bombshell, shocking even seasoned palace journalists. William revealed deliberate media manipulation, including paid placements designed to tarnish his wife's reputation. Not misunderstandings, intentional attacks. Multiple sources later confirmed that William was referring to a series of paid PR pieces Meghan commissioned in late 2024. Articles that suggested Catherine used her popularity as a weapon and that King Charles felt threatened by Meghan's global fame. Those outlets have since quietly removed the stories, but the revelations left palace aides stunned and the media scrambling to catch up. And there was more, something the public had never heard. Meghan had secretly been working with Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, using Fergie's old resentment toward the monarchy to pressure Catherine during the most difficult period of her cancer recovery in 2024. Attempts to create divisions in this family? Totally unacceptable. Attempts to use vulnerable members as leverage against others? Intolerable. Later, aides explained that Fergie had been emotionally fragile and easily influenced at the time, but William's message was crystal clear. Meghan wasn't just criticising the monarchy, she was building strategic alliances, manoeuvring behind the scenes in ways few suspected. Then William invoked a name that no one expected, Prince Andrew. Transparency is not optional. It is required. We applied that standard to the Duke of York, and we will apply the same standard to Mrs. Markle, he stated firmly. For a future king to place Meghan in the same sentence as Andrew, the most disgraced senior royal in modern history, was a deliberate statement. The monarchy would protect no one, not even an in-law who still enjoys royal titles. The moment that froze the room was William's final comment about his brother. "I will not answer any media inquiries about the Duke of Sussex, nor will I acknowledge or respond to Hollywood commentary about him. Future engagement with him will not take place through public channels. Done. Done defending. Done explaining. Done waiting." And then came the line that shattered whatever remained of the brotherly bond. "The crown cannot be dragged into every storm created outside its walls." This was a direct reference to Harry and Meghan's live-streamed complaints, public accusations, and Hollywood storytelling. In a stunning break from royal protocol, William spoke directly about Archie and Lily. "They are innocent. They deserve stability, dignity, and a childhood free from public conflict." Senior aides were quick to clarify, this was not a custody threat. It was a warning. The monarchy would not allow the children to be used as tools for media attention. Privately, someone close to William said he was heartbroken for them. "They are growing up inside a noise chamber created by their parents." Within hours, #StandWithWilliam was trending across the UK. American talk shows erupted in outrage. Polls showed 72% of the British public supported William's stance, while support for Harry and Meghan plunged to 18%, their lowest since 2020. Inside Buckingham Palace, there was no celebration, only determination, focus, and the hard realization that the institution itself was being tested like never before. But this was only the beginning. Exactly 2 weeks before William's public statement, during a secret meeting at Windsor Castle with 8 of the palace's most trusted advisors, William said the sentence that set everything in motion: "We can no longer be passive in the face of deliberate sabotage." So what consequences did Prince William's announcement carry? Let's find out royal break fallout. It was the first time since the abdication crisis of 1936 that the Royal Communications team had to activate their most serious full separation plan against a living member of the House of Windsor. The spark for all of this came when a batch of newly leaked private messages from Meghan, allegedly written between 2021 and early 2023, suddenly appeared in late September 2025. These documents, palace officials revealed, didn't just complain about King Charles's supposed emotional distance and coldness during Meghan's pregnancies. They went further, accusing him of purposely helping Catherine win public admiration while pushing Meghan into the shadows. Even worse, the leaks suggested Meghan had reached out to 2 media advisors in the US, individuals directly connected to Netflix. One message even read, "If Charles won't protect me, then the story will protect me." Within 24 hours of the leak, it was already spreading. Top palace figures, led by Lady Fiona Walsingham, the deputy head of sovereign affairs, met with lawyers and former MI5 risk experts. Their conclusion was blunt and chilling. Meghan was no longer just a rebellious duchess. She was now considered a communication threat to the crown. On October 9, 2025, King Charles, already battling health problems and dropping approval ratings, and following Prince Andrew's housing scandal, made one of the biggest internal changes since his coronation. In a sealed royal order called Memo 2485, he handed full control of all public crisis management to William and Catherine. For the Prince and Princess of Wales, this decision meant 2 major things. William would become the only royal voice allowed to speak publicly about anything involving the Sussexes. Catherine would take charge of shaping the narrative, managing the media, and controlling how the royal family's image would be presented moving forward. An insider described this moment as Charles's last chance to start fresh, a clear signal that the palace intended to stop reacting to crises and start controlling the story. A former royal communications chief explained, "William isn't just fixing a problem. He's drawing a new line for the modern monarchy." Behind closed doors, William had quietly endured Meghan's media attacks for years, but the breaking point, according to palace insiders, wasn't something Meghan had said. It was Harry's silence. After multiple public claims from Meghan accusing the palace of racism, elitism, and emotional abuse, Harry said nothing in public, yet privately went along with her statements. William reportedly reached out to him in early October with a stark message. "You know this isn't true. You lived it. You know Catherine has never acted with cruelty, so why won't you speak up?" Harry's reply, according to a palace aide, was chilling. "Telling the truth means I lose everything." To William, that crossed the final line. He was no longer protecting her. Royal watchers say this was the moment William shifted from patience to direct confrontation, one of the most painful and defining parts of the growing royal divide. The focus centered on the children, Archie and Lily. During his public statement, William insisted the Crown would never strip the children of their rights or dignity. Yet he also delivered a line that stunned the public. If staying quiet harms the emotional well-being of children, then this silence must end. Sources confirmed the palace even explored legal ways to protect the children, though no action was ultimately taken. The message to the Sussexes was unmistakable. The children are not bargaining tools. Catherine later told a senior aide, "We will not let those children become characters in a play written for California audiences." Another unexpected twist came when William publicly mentioned Sarah Ferguson's role in supporting Meghan. Sources said Meghan and Fergie had secretly reconnected in early 2025 at a charity event in Monaco. Over the next few months, Fergie, feeling left out by Charles, began offering emotional support to Meghan and listening to her frustrations about Catherine and the royal family. But William's team discovered encrypted messages between Meghan and Fergie, allegedly planning a media strategy to damage Catherine's public image during her recovery from illness. How did Meghan respond to the situation? Let's take a closer look. Meghan broke her silence for the first time in decades after the royal fallout. The monarchy was not retreating quietly into the shadows. Instead, it drew unmistakable lines in stone, etched with absolute clarity. Just 72 hours after Prince William's explosive announcement shook the royal world to its core, a new storm was forming. This one didn't rise from Windsor Castle. It came from the glittering hills of Montecito, California, at exactly 8:01 a.m. Pacific time. A meticulously planned media operation erupted across Los Angeles and New York. Front-page leaks, anonymous insider claims, and a flurry of calls from Meghan's PR team targeted Netflix, Spotify, and multiple Hollywood trade outlets. The headline was perfectly synchronized. Meghan breaks silence after royal fallout, yet she did not appear in person. Not yet. This was a carefully curated soft launch, retaliation designed to control the narrative without fully stepping into the public spotlight. Sources within several entertainment agencies confirmed Meghan's team had been preparing for this moment for months. The strategy mirrored a classic celebrity crisis recovery playbook: deflect, reframe, hint, and monetize. Phase 1 focused on victimhood and resilience. Journalists received pre-cleared talking points through intermediaries. Meghan felt she was never fully accepted by the Windsor family, faced emotional cruelty, particularly during her second pregnancy, and had her ideas repeatedly minimized. Phase 2 revolved around reinvention and empowerment. Meghan's team highlighted her next ventures: wellness investments, a new children's book, and a potential series about healing generational trauma. The message was unmistakable. She does not need the crown. She is building her own legacy. Meanwhile, Phase 3 anchored the story in her children. The most attention-grabbing detail came from a close friend quoted in Variety. "All Meghan wants is to raise her children in peace, but when the institution attacks, her instinct is to protect them just like any mother would." Within 36 hours, the palace struck back with an unusually blunt statement. The Crown categorically denied any suggestion that a pattern of deliberate provocation could be reframed as victimhood. "We will not respond further to speculative content promoted for commercial gain," the statement read. But the response did not stop at words. Prince William personally instructed legal counsel to begin preliminary steps to remove titles. A highly confidential royal document, known internally as Order 217, was sent to the Privy Council for review. The request was clear: strip the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of all royal titles, issue a formal advisory to British embassies worldwide, not recognise Meghan or Harry as working royals in any form, and freeze royal property entitlements, ceremonial listings, and diplomatic access. This was not just royal displeasure, it was a full constitutional separation, executed with precision in a world that blends monarchy and media spectacle. The reaction outside the palace was mixed. Executives at several major streaming platforms privately admitted there was growing royal fatigue among audiences. A veteran dealmaker who had negotiated directly with Meghan's representatives in 2023 remarked, "There's only so many times you can burn the same bridge and expect applause. This drama may sell headlines, but it's destroying long-term trust." Others were even more blunt. "William has the global institution. Meghan has Instagram and Oprah. There is simply no real comparison in gravitas. Not everyone turned away from Meghan. A major New York book publisher reportedly fast-tracked Meghan's upcoming memoir. Meanwhile, a podcast production company reopened talks for a limited series featuring untold royal stories from her perspective. The message was clear. The media war had only just begun. Back in London, neither King Charles nor Princess Catherine made public comments. Their silence, however, was deliberate. Palace aides confirmed that Charles had authorised William to act on behalf of the sovereign in all communications regarding the Sussexes. How did all of this concern Princess Catherine? Let's find out. Princess Catherine's royal authority. Meanwhile, Catherine returned to public life with quiet, undeniable strength, just 3 days after Meghan's explosive Hollywood leaks. She appeared at a paediatric cancer centre in Oxford. Her presence was calm, yet commanding. Observers couldn't help but notice her poise, her elegance, and the tiny but deliberate detail of her outfit, a brooch shaped like an anchor. Royal fashion experts quickly called it a subtle message, stability amid the storm. At one point, a young child asked Catherine if she was okay, clearly aware of the swirling media and speculation about her health. Her reply, simple yet powerful, was, "I'm very well, thank you." We all have to be strong sometimes, don't we? Those 7 words spread like wildfire, seen by many as a quiet rebuttal to Meghan's narrative of public despair. Yet the palace's most severe signal was not aimed at Meghan. It was directed squarely at Prince Harry. In a confidential briefing, later leaked to The Times, a senior advisor summarised William's private stance. "We can accept grief, we can accept differences, but we cannot accept betrayal, not after everything we've endured." In a final note to senior staff, William made his position crystal clear. "Harry is my brother, but I will not allow him to use our family name while it is being weaponized against our institutions. That era is over." Insiders now say this is Harry's last chance. Should he continue following Meghan's media strategy, he risks losing all official recognition, royal titles, ceremonial privileges, and most painfully, any future chance to be part of family legacy projects. As one palace aide put it bluntly, he must choose either the drama or the dynasty. William had delivered one of the strongest rebukes in modern royal history. All eyes naturally turned to the woman at his side, Princess Catherine. No longer just the Duchess of Cambridge, no longer simply a supportive consort. She had stepped into a visible role of moral authority once held by Queen Elizabeth herself, and she did it without a single word. Her first public appearance after William's declaration was symbolic in every detail. She arrived at the St. Bartholomew Foundation Gala in a minimalist cream gown, no tiara, no dramatic entrance, only a single white poppy pinned to her neckline. The message was unmistakable: peace, remembrance, restraint. Despite years of media scrutiny, comparison narratives, and now direct attacks from Meghan's Hollywood allies, Catherine's composure remained resolute, kind, and surgically precise. One royal reporter noted the temperature in the room seemed to drop the moment she entered, not because she was cold, but because her presence brought clarity and calm. Insiders confirmed the past 6 months had taken a heavy toll on Catherine. Caring for her children, supporting Charles through treatment, and managing a royal calendar nearly double its usual weight. She had little room for reflection, let alone retaliation. Yet when privately questioned about Meghan's accusations of favouritism and bullying within the royal household, Catherine responded in a way that stunned even veteran aides. "I forgive her, but I will not absorb her pain as my fault." Leaked to The Telegraph, this statement was less a denial than a refusal to be emotionally manipulated. It perfectly embodies the new approach. William and Catherine champion directness without cruelty, response without drama, and above all, duty over distraction. While King Charles remains monarch in title, it is Catherine alongside William who now carries the crown's emotional authority when Charles's health or public opinion falters. Catherine steps into the space left by Queen Elizabeth, steady, maternal, unshaken. A veteran royal historian remarked, "In a monarchy built on symbolism, Catherine has become the new centre of gravity. It didn't require a throne, it required trust." The public seems to agree. Polls conducted by The Times and YouGov show that over 76% of British citizens now view Catherine as the most trusted royal, above Charles, William, and even the late Queen's legacy. What other steps did William take? Let's take a closer look. Prince William's final move. At a private briefing behind closed doors at Kensington Palace, Prince William made his final, irreversible move. As of that moment, the royal family formally and permanently cut all official ties with Meghan Markle. From this day forward, they will not respond to, endorse, or recognise any public or media statements made by her or her representatives under the guise of royalty. It was a clear line in the sand, and for the first time, it included his own brother. At the heart of this decision lay a deeply fractured relationship, one that had once been filled with laughter, rugby matches, and wedding speeches. William, always pragmatic and patient, had quietly observed from the shadows as the Sussex brand shifted from sympathetic outsiders into aggressive disruptors. The breaking point came when a series of leaked production memos and insider accounts revealed Meghan's plan to pitch a Netflix docuseries. In it, she intended to frame royal motherhood by comparing her own parenting journey with Catherine's, suggesting favouritism, emotional neglect, and even institutional racism. What particularly enraged William was Meghan's quiet alliance with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, long estranged from the senior royals. According to insiders, Ferguson had been acting as a strategic advisor to Meghan, using old grudges to fuel new media attacks aimed directly at Catherine. William reportedly said, "That wasn't a media strategy, that was warfare." Then came what insiders called the ultimate betrayal. In a speech delivered in Hollywood, Harry criticised the monarchy for emotional cruelty and directly mentioned William by name. Worse, he suggested that William had ignored Meghan's suicidal thoughts, a claim insiders stressed was false given the private medical care Meghan had received through palace channels in early 2019. William's response was not anger. It was calculated detachment. "If Harry chooses a path of distortion, I mourn that choice," he said, "but I will no longer follow behind him, cleaning the footprints." Perhaps the most shocking moment came when William turned the discussion to Archie and Lily in a statement that stunned even his closest advisers. He said, "If the environment they are growing up in becomes toxic beyond repair, the Crown will offer sanctuary, not as a royal claim, but as a duty to two children born into chaos." Though legally symbolic and not enforceable across borders, the statement hit like moral thunder. William accused Harry and Meghan of using their children to gain public sympathy while exposing them to constant scandal, press manipulation, and unstable narratives. He cited shocking examples: photos of the children withheld unless media outlets used precise language, conflicting accounts of christening invitations, the use of Lilibet's name, which had deeply hurt Queen Elizabeth in her final months, and even scripts pitched to producers in California that explicitly included the children. William's quiet fury was tangible. "We lost our mother to a world of flashing lights and broken truths," he said. "I will not watch another generation of children grow up under the weight of someone else's trauma." To emphasise his point, William referenced the monarchy's response to Prince Andrew, his uncle, who had long been stripped of duties and titles due to scandal. "This institution does not reward disgrace with continued privilege," he declared. "Whether that disgrace is financial or emotional, public or private, the principle remains: no one exploits this crown without consequence." With that, William formally began the revocation process. Meghan's remaining honorary titles were suspended. The Sussex brand was no longer allowed to appear on royal programme literature. Harry's last two military affiliations, held in honour but not in duty, were to be reviewed and likely revoked. William also quietly requested that Hollywood agencies stop using the word royal when promoting Harry or Meghan unless legally cleared by Buckingham Palace. King Charles, recovering from another round of treatment, made no immediate statement, but sources confirmed he quietly approved the move, acknowledging that the time had come to protect the monarchy from self-destruction. What challenges did the royal family encounter? Let's explore the hidden struggles of the monarchy. For the past 5 years, the British royal family had struggled to stay clear and steady in a world dominated by influencers and emotional media, from Oprah Winfrey's 2021 interview to Harry's recent Vanity Hollywood gala speech. The royal family often reacted rather than planned, until now. Everything changed the moment King Charles gave Prince William full control over public statements regarding Meghan Markle. This was about protecting the institution. Sir Thomas Redgrave, a former royal press secretary, said it simply, but more than that, it was a clear message. The monarchy will no longer let its image be used, twisted, or disrespected. William's words, precise and direct, marked a shift from diplomacy to firm principle. He reinforced the values of merit, responsibility, and earned respect. There would be no more confusion over who speaks for the crown, no more ignoring conflicting stories, and no more letting family drama threaten the stability of the monarchy. While Catherine was not mentioned in William's briefing, her role was impossible to ignore. Time and again, Meghan's complaints, both public and private, compared her to the Princess of Wales. There were accusations of favouritism, rumours of rivalry, and alleged coldness within the palace. Catherine never answered publicly, even when blamed for everything from tears over flower girl dresses to symbolic slights at royal events. Sources close to Kensington say her silence was not weakness. It was protection for her children, the crown, and a husband caught between brotherhood and duty. "You don't build a future monarchy on noise," one insider said. "You build it on consistency." Catherine has been the most consistent figure since the Queen herself. Her recent increase in royal engagements, including taking on charitable leadership roles once reserved for the monarch, signals not just survival, but rising influence. Her name is now tied to trust, discipline, and international goodwill, strengthened by her diplomacy at the Vatican Summit and her Global Women's Health Initiative. This contrast between steady service and self-created chaos is what William chose to emphasize. His comments also sent a warning to media and entertainment companies. No one should use royal identity for profit without permission. Titles carry responsibility. This was a direct message to Netflix, Spotify, Penguin, Random House, and others who benefited from the Sussex story without respecting the crown's boundaries. William is setting a new standard. If you profit from royalty, you either follow the rules or you aren't royal at all. Perhaps the most sensitive and debated part of William's statement was his appeal for Archie and Lilibet's protection. No legal action has been taken, but he made it clear he is ready to provide a safe, neutral, and structured upbringing for them if needed. Some saw this as a subtle custody challenge. Others recognized it as a protective gesture. Royal historian Dr. Eleanor Barnett interprets it differently. It was an olive branch to the next generation. William isn't trying to take them from their parents, he's offering them a choice if they grow up realizing that fame was their parents' decision, not theirs. So, what do you think about Prince William's shocking announcement? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story for all your friends who follow the royal drama.